I'm Yogesh Kumar Yadav from my team Wisdom. Today we will discuss about the biotechnology and its applications. So, as we know that biotechnology essentially deals with industrial scale production of biopharmaceuticals and biologicals. Actually, we should be aware that what are the biopharmaceuticals? Actually, biopharmaceuticals are those things that, as we know, that the medicines, certain medicines, those are being produced by biological system also. And as we know that the pharmaceuticals are those medicines which are produced in a factory, but there are certain medicines, they are being produced by the microorganisms or the plants also. So the production of all those essential medicines with the help of the genes which are present in those organisms and extracting those genes, and by using those genes in another organism and getting those proteins or the medicines for industrial purpose. So that comes under the biopharmaceuticals. And there are certain proteins, or you can say that other products, they are known as the biologicals. And these biologicals are being produced by the microbes. And the microbes are what? Like the bacteria, as we can say that the bacteria. So bacteria, we are using the bacteria for this purpose. Okay, and fungi, and plants and animals. So we can use all kind of organisms in which we can insert the desired gene. Okay, and the application of the biotechnology includes that therapeutic uses, diagnostic uses. Let us look at the therapeutic uses. What are the therapeutic uses? Means if there is any disease and we are able to cure those diseases with the help of biotechnology, means if there is a requirement of certain kind of protein, and we are inserting the gene of that protein into that patient, that will be the therapeutic use of the biotechnology. Similarly, for the purpose of a diagnosis, means that if there are any kind of disease, or we have to detect any genetic disease, then we can use this biotechnology for that purpose also. We are using the genetically modified crops in agriculture also, like we can see that the BT cotton. And there is one more crop, that is a BT brinjal also, that we can use. Okay, and in the processed food also, we are using the biotechnology. As we know that there are a lot of compounds. By the production of those compounds, the rotting of specific food material, that is being delayed. Or there may be the bioremediation, wastewater treatment, and waste treatment, and energy production also. So these are the certain areas in which the biotechnology can be used. And if you look at the critical research area that are nowadays going on, those are the best catalyst we can produce with the help of these organisms. And we can get pure enzymes also with the help of these microorganisms. Creating optimal condition through engineering for a catalyst to act, means we can say that if certain catalysts are present in a reaction, so with the help of this biotechnology, we can utilize maximum with the help of these microorganisms. And downstream processing technology. Downstream processing is that part when specific product we get, and after that, that is being processed, or that is being marketed, that process comes under the downstream processing. So how that is to be kept for a long time, that is a part of biotechnology. Now let us look at the biotechnological application in agriculture. And as we know that initially there were a lot of use, and still there is a lot of use of agrochemicals. And with the help of these agrochemicals, the production, obviously that has increased, but now we have reached up to that level where with the help of these agrochemicals, the production cannot increase. Or the agrochemicals which are being used, they are they are costing very high. Second thing, that organic agriculture means that now the people, they have come to know that there are the chemicals which are used in the agriculture, they are harmful for themselves. So there is a trend of organic farming. So if there is organic farming, there is less amount of production that is occurring. And third is genetically engineering crop based in agriculture. Here we can see that we can increase the crop production by genetically engineering the crops. How that we can do? Let us see. There are certain historical things that we should be aware about the Green Revolution. And we should be aware that when there was less production of the products, like the agriculture products, at that time, the Green Revolution that was introduced, and in which there was a lot of urea and other fertilizers and the insecticides, pesticides, they were used to enhance or to increase the production of crop. And that increased yield have partly been due to the use of improved crop varieties at that time, but mainly due to the use of better management practices and use of agrochemicals, means the fertilizers. Those were the responsible at that time. And for in the developing countries, we know that these agrochemicals are too expensive, and further increase in yield with existing varieties is not possible. Is there any alternative way by which we can increase the production? That is the genetics, as you know that. And initially, various varieties, they were being formed, and those varieties, they yielded very good production. But now the situation has arrived that we have to further increase these things, and we have to minimize the use of agrochemicals as well as the pesticides and the insecticides. And for that purpose, we are using the genetically modified crops, and that is the most possible way by which we can increase the production. Let us see how this can be done. Actually, those organisms which are being modified or which are having certain genes, those are being introduced from another organism to the one organism, they are known as the genetically modified organism. Okay, just suppose we need, just suppose there is human insulin or human insulin. Actually, human insulin, that is very much essential. And that gene which is producing this human insulin, that is being introduced into the bacteria. So that bacteria is known as genetically modified organism. Similarly, there are certain crops like BT cotton. Here what we have done, that there is a toxin which is known as BT toxin that is being produced by the Bacillus thuringiensis. So what we have done, that the genes which are responsible for the production of the BT toxin, they are being introduced into the cotton. So the cotton which is having this kind of genes, they are known as the genetically modified organism. So let us see that what and how these genetically modified organisms, they can be produced. Okay, and what are the uses of these plants? Let us see. So those crops which are being genetically modified, they will have what they will have, that they will be tolerant to abiotic stresses. What are these abiotic stresses? Let us talk about that. Just take an example of the cold. As we know that because of the climatic change, what is happening, that the extremes of the extremes of heat, extremes of cold, they are being seen, or there is drought also. So those crops which are very much essential, and if there is any kind of climate change in future, they may be. So those proteins which are responsible to pass on the cold or drought or the salt or the heat concentration, we can use those genes in our normal crops. Just suppose there is a plant which lives at extreme conditions. Just you can imagine that it is living in very cold condition. If the gene which is responsible to keep that plant in that extreme cold condition, we bring that gene and introduce that gene into our wheat, then the wheat variety that will be produced, that will be more tolerant to the cold conditions. Similarly, there are extreme conditions of the hotness also in certain part of the world. Those plants which are growing in that part, if we take that gene which is responsible to keep them alive in that condition, introduce those genes into some plants, and by that those organisms, they will be able to tolerate high heat. So by that we can say that the extreme condition, they can be tolerated by the plant. Second thing, that they will be having the reduced reliance on the chemical pesticides, or as I have taken or I have told about the BT cotton, that that BT cotton is having certain genes from the Bacillus thuringiensis, which produces a specific toxin, and those insects which are reaching the plant to bite that plant or to devour the plant material, they will ingest that toxin and they will die. So here the use of chemical pesticides, that will be reduced. Similarly, there are certain post-harvest losses, they may occur, so they can also be reduced. And the next thing, that they can increase efficiency of mineral uses by plants. So by introducing certain kind of genes, whatever the minerals they are present in the soil, they can be better utilized. And enhance nutrition value of food. As we know that the golden rice, that is having vitamin A enriched rice. Okay, and in addition to these uses, genetically modified organisms has been used to create tailor-made plants to supply. As we see that what this tailor-made is, actually, as we know that the tailor can cut any part from the cloth and can add to any other plant, any other part. Similarly, what we are doing here, that we can cut the genes from one species and we can introduce those genes into another species. Just suppose here I am taking an example. Just suppose this is specific part of the DNA that was producing a protein, that is A protein. And if we cut this A protein and introduce into another organism which is lacking this A protein, so I am making it here like this. The thicker part, this is the introduced A protein. Introduced A gene. Okay, so actually this is not A protein, actually A protein producing gene. Okay, so here we will see that if that A protein producing gene is being introduced over here, so this is specific organism which is having this A gene that will start producing A protein. Okay, let us see now. Let us take the example of BT cotton. Actually, there is a bacteria which is known as Bacillus thuringiensis. This is the bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, And this bacillus thuringiensis actually produce protein that kill certain insects. They are the lepidopterans. What are the lepidopterans? Actually, there are certain moths which destroy the cotton bulb. Okay, and there are certain polypterans also, and these polypterans are known as beetles, and certain dipterans. Those are the flies and mosquitoes. They actually cause losses to the cotton plant. Okay, and this Bacillus thuringiensis actually it forms protein crystals, and these protein crystals are toxic insecticides. They are what? They are the toxic insecticidal proteins. Okay, and these toxic insecticidal proteins which are being produced by the Bacillus thuringiensis, they are produced in inactive form. That's why the Bacillus thuringiensis itself is not being killed. Whenever it is reaching into the gut of the insect, then only it gets activated. Okay, and here we can see that as we can see, once an insect ingests the inactive toxin, it is converted into an active form of toxin. And due to alkaline pH of the gut, which solubilize the crystals. And when these crystals are being solubilized, at the time what will happen? That they will change. Okay, or you can see that these activated crystals, they will bind to the surface of midgut. Okay, what they will do? They will attach or bind to the surface of the midgut epithelial cells and create pores, and that causes excessive swelling. And because of this excessive swelling, the cell gets sliced. Okay, and that is the reason of killing of those lepidopteran caterpillars. And these specific PT toxin genes were isolated from the Bacillus thuringiensis, and they were incorporated into several crops. Okay, and these crops, they are resistant to those specific insects. Okay, and the name of those specific genes are just like Cry1AC. Okay, and other genes are Cry2AB and Cry1AB. Okay, and they produce various kind of toxins. Okay, so this is about the use of biotechnology in agriculture crops. Thank you very much.